Clutch is a big used car seller online in Canada, and it just closed a $50 million financing round. The company, though, back in 2023 was struggling. It cut about 2/3 of the staff and pulled out of Western Canada. At least one financing fell through. But it's been a recovery story since then. We're joined by Dan Park, CEO of Clutch. It's great to see you.
Yeah, great for having me on the show.
And part of your career was you headed up Uber Eats in Canada.
That's right.
So tell us about Clutch. You reckon you're the biggest online used car seller.
That's right. Yeah. So our model relies on acquiring a large amount of inventory directly from consumers, and that's all powered by technology. We've built AI models that allow us to price cars in real time, give those offers to consumers so that they can take their car and turn that into cash almost instantaneously. We then take those cars, we put them through a vertically integrated reconditioning process where we put a lot of work into those vehicles. We do a 210-point inspection, we do full mechanical, we do cosmetic, and we make sure that car is super high quality. And then we sell those in a very seamless experience on our website where we have complete transparency over the transaction.
It's interesting, before we get into the buying experience on your site, selling a used car can be a nightmare. You get people, the infamous tire kickers come around, they try to beat you down on the price. So what's it like if I try to sell my car to Clutch?
To Clutch, so we generate about 140,000 offers per week to Canadians.
Whoa.
So it's a big number, and they do that all through our algorithms. You come in, you can just type in your license plate data into our site, and you will get an instant cash offer for that car.
Well, so I don't have to type in a description or pictures?
You answer a series of about 12 to 13 questions around the mileage, the color of the vehicle, and so from that information, we can give you a very accurate read on what that value of the car is, and then you can track that over time in our system. And then if you want to schedule a pickup or a drop-off, we'll do that for you, and you'll get paid instantaneously.
But do you inspect the car physically before you take it?
Yeah, as long as the disclosure that if you haven't disclosed that the car was in an accident, we'll find that out eventually. So as long as you're truthful in your disclosure, and when we get that vehicle, that disclosure matches what you've told us, then you'll get that value. So if you say that the car is in excellent condition and the bumper's hanging off, we'll adjust for that.
Okay, but that's interesting. I can monitor your site. Oh, Clutch will give me a bit more. I see now.
Yeah, and so there's times where the car value, and it's all market based. So there's times where the market price of that car will go up, and times will go down. Over time, because of depreciation, the value of the car does decrease, but intraday or intra-week, there are fluctuations in the market value of that vehicle.
And then buying, it's a no haggle experience if I buy?
Yeah, so what you get is the same as everyone else. You go on our site, 100% transparent around what you're paying for that car. Your financing is available online, and it makes it a very seamless. The condition of the car, we have very detailed photos. If there are any imperfections on the vehicle, we'll highlight those, what we call hotspots. There's a Carfax report that you can actually download instantaneously, so you get the full vehicle history, and so you have a high degree of transparency into what you're getting.
So you offer financing as part?
That's right, yeah.
And that can be a profit center too.
Absolutely. We work with all of the major Canadian banks to help customers get financing for their vehicle.
Do you offer insurance as well?
We work, again, with partners. Again, we don't underwrite the insurance, but
we
can work with partners to help you get insurance as well.
Because that can be that's a big source. In the auto retail trade, financing and insurance are a pretty decent source of profit.
Yes, I mean, for us, we have to make no money from the insurance part of the business, at least traditional auto insurance, but there's certainly incentives for folks like ourselves to help customers get into loans.
So I'm thinking about traditional ways like Auto Trader or I guess Facebook Marketplace. But again, if I'm trying to sell a car, but I have to deal with messers and maybe even fraud artists who contact me.
Yeah, and tire kickers and folks that aren't serious about buying. And the difference with what we have is that every car that we sell on our site is in our inventory, and we inspect them with Clutch employees.
So tell us about the company's journey, to use that cliche, but in 2023, things were looking shaky.
Yeah, I think, and this wasn't unique to us, this was really a general reality for a lot of tech companies as interest rates were rising, growth capital and venture started drying up. We are a very capital consumptive business. We're buying every car that sits on our site. So each one of those cars, again, sits in one of our facilities. And so, again, very capital consumptive. as capital became more expensive, less readily available, and so we had to make changes for our business.
Right, and you pulled out of Western Canada, but are you back there yet?
Certainly with this funding round, we have plans to continue to expand back into Western Canada. It's nice to be back on a growth trajectory again, having solved a lot of the foundational issues that we had back in 2022 and 2023.
Who are your big shareholders or big backers? Can you tell us a couple?
Yeah, I mean, so with this round, we welcomed a fund called Altos Ventures based out of San Francisco. We also have folks like BMO Capital Partners, IA Financial, so some Canadian institutions on our cap table, along with folks like Canaan Ventures out of New York, and then along with a number of Canadian funds like Real Ventures and Brand Project.
And so you're like Carvana in your basic model, or how would you differ?
Yeah, there are certainly some similarities. I mean, again, we're both focused very much on the customer experience, making that transaction seamless and easy for the consumer. Again, we serve the Canadian market. We're a Canadian company founded by Canadians, serving Canadians with Canadian employees, and again, really focused on both the buying and selling part of that transaction.
You mentioned color off the top, but color is important, is it?
In some cases, I mean, the traditional standard colors like black and gray and white don't really move the needle, but generally, if you're lime green, that does decrease the value of the vehicle.
So just don't think twice before you go with some exotic
If you like
color.
lime green, whatever suits you.
Yeah, whatever floats. Yeah. Would you ever get into rentals or leasing cars, or is that just outside the model right now?
I think there's a lot of potential for the business. We're very focused on solving that pain point that I think we recognize as being the transaction that customers have around both buying and selling a vehicle.
Yeah.
Until we came along, really the only options were to go visit a dealership physically, or to meet a stranger in a Walmart or Tim Hortons parking lot, which to us felt like not the way you should be doing a transaction in 2019 down 2024 5
For thousands of dollars.
Exactly. Yeah.
Interesting stuff. Well, thank you very much indeed.
Yeah, thanks for having me on the show.
Dan Park, CEO of Clutch.